Hi guys, it's Stephanie from The Novelty Corner. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you my bookshelf tour. Now this video was kind of tricky to film, so in a minute you're going to see an overview of all of my shelves, and then I'm going to go through in different sections, so you'll see different titles because I have my red section above me, I have my TBR shelves just here, I also have a couple of shelves of Star Wars books, and then down the bottom I have all of my DVDs and planner stuff. So you'll see an overview of those shelves, but I haven't filmed those specifically, and I also haven't filmed my graphic novels. So if you're interested in seeing the graphic novels, the DVDs, or the planner shelf in more detail, please leave it in the comments. But I thought for the purposes of this video, the books would be enough, and it took a while. I'll apologize in advance for the lighting in the video. The lighting was coming in and out, so I did my best. Let's just hope it works out. Without further ado, let's get on with the bookshelf tour. Okay, so these are my bookshelves. I have 3 IKEA Billy Oxford bookcases, and you're looking right up the top where the extensions are. And the first 2 rows are books that I have read, and they're sorted in rainbow order. So I apologise for the lighting, but the last half of the bookshelf is black or really dark books. And as we go down, we have my TBR shelves, a display shelf, some more books I've read, and my Star Wars books. And if we go down even further, there's more Star Wars books, some information books and other assorted books, my graphic novels, the rest of my TBR shelf, my planners, then right down the bottom are my DVDs. I'm going to give you a more close-up view of them in just a second. The Great Zoo of China, Matthew Riley. Three Dark Crowns by Kendall Blake. The Boy at the Top of the Mountain by John Boyne. Radiance by Catherine M. Valente. American Psycho by Bret Easton Ellis. The Ghost Child by Sonia Hartnett. The Book of Whispers by Kimberly Starr. Peter Pan in Scarlet by Geraldine McCaughrean. A Porson by Garth Nix. Ensnared by A.G. Howard. The Historian by Elizabeth Kostova. Ruin and Rising by Leigh Bardugo. The Illuminae Files 1, Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. Coraline by Neil Gaiman. Skullduggery Pleasant by Derek Landy. Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. The Tournament by Matthew Riley. Sabriel by Garth Nix. Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. Love, Lies and Linguini by Hilary Spears. Replica by Lauren Oliver. Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, and this is a signed copy. The Subtle Knife by Philip Pullman. Hood by Stephen Lawhead. Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. Skullduggery Pleasant, Playing with Fire by Derek Landy. Fantastic Mr. Fox by Roald Dahl. The Jungle Book by Rudyard Kipling. First Life by Gina Showalter. Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. Angels and Demons by Dan Brown. Fearless by Fiona Higgins. Frog Kisser by Garth Nix. This is also a signed copy. The Magicians by Lev Grossman. Collide by Amy Jessica Ross. Splintered by A.G. Howard. The Great Gatsby, a graphic adaptation by Nikki Greenberg of the novel by F. Scott Fitzgerald. The Life and Death of Sophie Stark by Anna North. Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo. Skullduggery Pleasant, The Faceless Ones by Derek Landy. Alice Miranda at School by Jacqueline Harvey. Burial Rites by Hannah Kent. Julius Caesar by William Shakespeare. Scarecrow and the Army of Thieves by Matthew Riley. Teacher Man by Frank McCourt. The Illuminae Files 2, Gemina by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. Hartley's Grange and Country Roads, both by Nicole Hurley Moore. Untamed by A.G. Howard. The Northern Lights by Philip Pullman. Bitten by Kelly Armstrong. The Ancient Future, The Dark Age by Tracy Harding. Glass Sword and King's Cage, both by Victoria Aveyard. Jurassic Park and Congo by Michael Crichton. Flawed by Cecilia Ahern. The Fifth Avenue Artists Society by Joy Calloway. Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. Half-Blood by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Stardust by Neil Gaiman. Defy the Stars by Claudia Gray. The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. Unhinged by A.G. Howard. Skullduggery Pleasant, Dark Days by Derek Landy. Finding Wonders by Janine Atkins. Magician by Raymond E. Feast. In the Hands of the Goddess by Tamora Pierce. An Echo in Time, Atlantis by Tracy Harding. The Dreaming Volume 1, Volume 2 and Volume 3, all by Queenie Chan, and all these volumes are signed as well. Scarecrow by Matthew Riley, Seven Ancient Wonders by Matthew Riley, Third Time Lucky by Carly Lane, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs, City of Ghosts by Stacia Kane, and Unholy Magic also by Stacia Kane. Ready Player One by Ernst Klein, End of Days by Susan E., the Tamuli trilogy featuring Domes of Fire, The Shining Ones and The Hidden City by David Eddings, The Crown's Game by Evelyn Skye, Stormfront and Grave Peril, both by Jim Butcher, The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown, A Shadow's Breath by Nicole Hayes, this book is also signed, The Amber Spyglass by Philip Pullman, The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society by Marianne Schaefer and Annie Barrows, So Much to Tell You, the play by John Marsden, this copy is also signed, The Six Sacred Stones, The Five Greatest Warriors, and The Four Legendary Kingdoms, all by Matthew Riley, Temple by Matthew Riley, Confessions of a Part-Time Sorceress, A Girl's Guide to the Dungeons & Dragons Game by Shelley Mazzanoble, Two Boys Kissing by David Levithan, Cruel Crown by Victoria Aveyard, Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, Holding Up the Universe by Jennifer Niven. Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, Heir of Fire, Queen of Shadows, Empire of Storms, and The Assassin's Blade, all by Sarah J. Maas. Nevernight by Jay Kristoff, The Very Persistent Gappers of Fripp by George Saunders and illustrated by Lane Smith, The Lost World by Michael Crichton, The Princess Bride by William Goldman, Graveminder by Melissa Marr, Cut by Mark Rabe, The Stolen Child by Lisa Carey, Storm and Grace by Catherine Heyman, Ferris by Marissa Meyer, Battle Axe by Sarah Douglas, Full Moon by Jim Butcher, Silverthorn by Raymond D. Feast, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, and Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, all by J.K. Rowling. Black Rock, White City by A.S. Patrick. Court of Thorns and Roses, and A Court of Mist and Fury, all by Sarah J. Maas. Divergent, Insurgent, and Allegiant, all by Veronica Roth. Percy Jackson and the Last Olympian, Percy Jackson and the Battle of the Labyrinth, Percy Jackson and the Titan's Curse, Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters, all by Rick Riordan. A Darkness at Sethanon by Raymond D. Feast, Arrival by Ted Chiang, The Martian by Andy Weir, Stars Above by Marissa Meyer, Tuck by Stephen R. Lawhead, and Scarlet by Stephen R. Lawhead. Yellow by Megan Jacobson, and this is a signed copy. Eon and Iona, both by Alison Goodman. Angel Fall and World After, both by Susan E. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass, both by Lewis Carroll. The Wonderful Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum. The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. The Iliad and the Odyssey, both by Homer. Her Every Fear by Peter Swanson. Sacrifice by Hannah Winter. Born of the Phoenix by David Murray Forrester. The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. Skullduggery Pleasant, The Dying of the Light by Derek Landy, Skullduggery Pleasant, Mortal Coil, Skullduggery Pleasant, Deathbringer, Skullduggery Pleasant, Kingdom of the Wicked, Skullduggery Pleasant, Last Stand of Dead Men, Skullduggery Pleasant, Armageddon Out of Here, Tanith Lau in The Maleficent Seven, from the world of Skullduggery Pleasant, and Skullduggery Pleasant, The End of the World, all by Derek Landy, The Whispers of the Fallen by J.D. Netto, The Invisible Library and The Masked City, both by Genevieve Cogman, Heartless by Marissa Meyer, Zoo by James Patterson, The Passage by Justin Cronin, this is a signed copy, The Interrogation of a Charla Wolf by Amberlynn Kwei Malina, and I Darken by Kirsten White, City of Bones by Cassandra Clare, Burn by Sophie Carlin, Roseblood by A.G. Howard, A Drop of Night by Stephen Bachman, Good Omens by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman, Timeline by Michael Crichton, The Host by Stephanie Meyer, The Last King of Legend, Heirs to the Throne by R.F. Steinhauer, A Closed and Common Orbit by Becky Chambers, Divine Misdemeanors by Laurel K. Hamilton, Spy Mistress, The Life of Vera Atkins, The Greatest Female Secret Agent of World War II by William Stevenson. The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, both by Leigh Bardugo, the UK paperback version of Caraval, the US hardcover of Caraval, and the UK cover of Caraval by Stephanie Garber. This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab, A Darker Shade of Magic, A Gathering of Shadows, and A Conjuring of Light by V.E. Schwab. Temple, Contest, Ice Station, and Area 7, all by Matthew Riley. Every Heart a Doorway by Shannon Maguire, Daughter of Smoke and Bone, Days of Blood and Starlight, and Dreams of Gods and Monsters, all by Laini Taylor. Perfect by Cecilia Ahern, The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, Vengeance Road by Aaron Bowman, The Things We Promised by J.C. Burke, Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare, The Burning Page by Genevieve Cogman, The 12 by Justin Cronin, and this is a signed copy, Truth Witch by Susan Dennard, Jane Steele by Lindsay Fay, Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn, The Bone Sparrow by Zana Fralin, Rogue One, A Star Wars Story by Alexander Freed, The Ode Less Travelled, Stephen Fry, Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman, The Graveyard Book, Neverwhere, and M is for Magic, all by Neil Gaiman, The Edge of Everything by Jeff Giles, A Thousand Pieces of You by Claudia Gray, Star Wars Lost Stars by Claudia Gray, The Magician King and The Magician's Land, both by Lev Grossman, Unearthly and Hallowed, both by Cynthia Hand, Star Wars Heir to the Jedi by Kevin Hearn, Alice by Christina Henry, Freaks by Amanda Hocking, In at the Deep End by Penelope Janu, The Maxim Chronicles, A Year with the Champion Poodle by Doug Jordan, Lifespan of Starlight by Talia Kalkipsakis, You by Carolyn Kepnes, The Diabolic by S.J. Kincaid, A Wrinkle in Time, the graphic novel by Madeleine L'Anglaise, Starflight by Melissa Landers, Valentine by Jodie McAllister, The Capture Wardrobe by Wendy Mack, Hexenhaus by Nikki McWatters, Rebellion and The Gathering of Shadows, both by J.D. Netto, Between Two Thorns by Emma Newman, Akane and Raelia, both by Lynette Noni, The Rook by David O'Malley, Dragonfly Song by Wendy Orr, Frankie by Shuvan Ploza, Penguin Teen Australia Superproof 2017, Snow Like Ashes by Sarah Rush, The Heroes of Olympus, The Son of Neptune, The Heroes of Olympus, The Lost Hero, both by Rick Riordan, The Red Pyramid and The Throne of Fire, both by Rick Riordan, Magnus Chase and The Sword of Summer, also by Rick Riordan, Revenger by Alistair Reynolds, Carve the Mark by Veronica Roth, Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor, Red Sister by Mark Lawrence, The Breakdown by B.A. Paris, Freeing Grace by Charity Norman, Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson, The Invention of Hugo Cabret, and Wonderstruck, both by Brian Selznick, Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, Disruption and Corruption, both by Jessica Shervington, Archangel's Heart by Nalini Singh, The Fallen Volume 1, featuring The Fallen and Leviathan by Thomas E. Snegoski, Hunted by Megan Spooner, A Tyranny of Petticoats, edited by Jessica Spotswood, The Diamond Age by Neil Stevenson, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and Other Stories of the Supernatural by Robert Louis Stevenson, Black Widow Forever Red, and Black Widow Red Vengeance, both by Margaret Stoll, Dracula by Bram Stoker, The Secret of Nightingale Wood by Lucy Strange, An Ember in the Ashes by Sabah Tahir, As I Descended by Robin Talley, Goodwood by Holly Throsby, Zeros by Scott Westerfeld, Margot Lanigan and Deborah Bianacotti, Dragon Dawn by Carol Wilkinson, The Fifth Wave and The Infinite Sea, both by Rick Yancey, One Would Think the Deep by Claire Zorn, The Barefoot Investor by Scott Pape, The Three-Body Problem by Sixon Liu, The Chimes by Anna Smale, A Shadow Bright and Burning by Jessica Clues, Vicious by V.E. Schwab, Embassy Town by Chiona Meeville, Star Wars Aftermath Empire's End by Chuck Wendig, Watch Over Me by Claire Corbett, If Wishes Were Horses by Carly Lane, Spellslinger by Sebastian de Castell. The Princess Diarist and Wishful Drinking, both by Carrie Fisher, Luke Skywalker and the Shadows of Mindor by Matthew Stover, Star Wars The Dark Empire trilogy in graphic novel form, Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace by Terry Brooks, Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones by R.A. Salvatore, Legacy of the Force Invincible by Troy Denning, Star Wars Millennium Falcon by James Luceno, Star Wars Scoundrels by Timothy Zahn, Star Wars X-Wing Mercy Kill by Aaron Alston, Star Wars Fate of the Jedi series, Outcast by Aaron Alston, Omen by Christy Golden, Abyss by Troy Denning, Backlash by Aaron Alston, Allies by Christy Golden, Vortex by Troy Denning, Conviction by Aaron Alston, Ascension by Christy Golden, Apocalypse by Troy Denning, Star Wars Where Science Meets Imagination, introduction by Anthony Daniels, Star Wars Blueprints, illustrated by Chris Travis and Chris Reef, written by Ryder Wyndham, Star Wars Costumes, the original trilogy, Brandon Allinger, The Jedi Path. Star Wars X-Wing, Rogue Squadron, Wedge's Gamble, The Krytos Trap, and The Back to War by Michael A. Stackpole, Star Wars X-Wing Wraith Squadron, Iron Fist, and Solo Command, all by Aaron Alston, Star Wars X-Wing Izard's Revenge by Michael A. Stackpole, Star Wars X-Wing Starfighters of Adamar by Aaron Alston, Star Wars Legacy of the Force, Betrayal, Bloodlines, Tempest, Exile, Sacrifice, Inferno, Fury, and Revelation by Aaron Alston, Karen Travis, and Troy Denning. Star Wars Heir to the Empire, Dark Force Rising, and The Last Command by Timothy Zahn. Star Wars Dark Nest, The Joiner King, The Unseen Queen, and The Storm War by Troy Denning. Star Wars Tales from the New Republic, edited by Peter Schweihofer and Craig Carey. Star Wars Tales from the Empire, edited by Peter Schweihofer. Star Wars Rogue Planet by Greg Bear, Star Wars Outbound Flight by Timothy Zahn, Star Wars The Approaching Storm by Alan Dean Foster, Star Wars Coruscant Knights 1, 2 and 3, Jedi Twilight, Street of Shadows, and Patterns of Force, all by Michael Reeves, Star Wars Death Star by Michael Reeves and Steve Perry, Star Wars The Courtship of Princess Leia by Dave Wolverton, Star Wars Volumes 1, 2 and 3 of the Jedi Academy Trilogy, Jedi Search, Dark Apprentice, and Champions of the Force by Kevin J. Anderson, Star Wars I, Jedi by Michael A. Stackpole, Star Wars Children of the Jedi by Barbara Hambly, Star Wars Darksaber by Kevin J. Anderson, Star Wars Planet of Twilight by Barbara Hambly, Star Wars The Truce at Bakura by Kathy Tease, Star Wars The New Rebellion by Kristen Catherine Rush, Star Wars Books 1, 2 and 3 of the Corellian Trilogy, Ambush at Corellia, Assault at Salonia, Showdown at Centerpoint by Roger McBride Allen, Star Wars Survivor's Quest by Timothy Zahn, Star Wars Young Jedi Knight Shadow Academy by Kevin J. Anderson and Rebecca Moster, and Star Wars Young Jedi Knights The Lost Ones, Kevin J. Anderson and Rebecca Moster. Next up is what I have from the New Jedi Order books, Star Wars Vector Prime by R.A. Salvatore, Dark Tide 1 Onslaught by Michael A. Stackpole, and Dark Tide 2 Ruin by Michael A. Stackpole, Agents of Chaos 1 Hero's Trial, and Agents of Chaos 2 Jedi Eclipse, both by James Luceno, Balance Point by Kathy Tears, Edge of Victory 1 Conquest, Edge of Victory 2 Rebirth, both by Greg Keyes, Enemy Lines 1 Rebel Dream, Enemy Lines 2 Rebel Stand, both by Aaron Alston, Allegiance by Timothy Zahn, Star Wars Aftermath and Star Wars Aftermath Life Debt, both by Chuck Wendig, Star Wars Bloodlines by Claudia Gray, Star Wars The Thrawn Trilogy by Timothy Zahn in graphic novel form, Star Wars Choices of One by Timothy Zahn, Star Wars Graphic Novel Omnibus Rogue Squadron Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3, as well as Star Wars X-Wing Rogue Squadron Masquerade. Obsessed with Star Wars Trivia Book, Art 2D2's Guide to Folding and Doodling by Tom Engelberger, A Guide to the Star Wars Universe, 3rd edition, Bill Slavicsek, Supernatural John Winchester's Journal by Alex Irvin, The Dark Knight, based on the Warner Brothers picture films, novelization by Dennis O'Neil, Stargate SG-1, The First Amendment by Ashley McConnell, X-Men, a novelization by Kristen Catherine Rush and Dean Wesley Smith, No Plot, No Problem, A Low-Stress, High-Velocity Guide to Writing a Novel in 30 Days by Chris Batty, Teachers, Students and the Law, Official Guide to the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum, America's Hangar, Stephen F. Udvar-Hazy Center, Breathe Magazine Volume 1, and 2 travel photo books. Once Upon a Time, the storytelling card game, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, a 3D expanding pocket guide, illustrated by Sarah McMenemy. Washington, D.C., a 3D keepsake cityscape, illustrated by Sarah McMenemy. It's Not How Good You Are, It's How Good You Want to Be, the world's best-selling book by Paul Arden. Got What It Takes to Be a Great Leader, Marshall Goldsmith. Want More Energy, Dr. Libby Weaver. Want to Work Smarter and Live Better, Cyril Popion. Want to Feel Calm and Confident, Shanna Kennedy. Xenophobe's Guide to the Aussies and Xenophobe's Guides to the Americans, both books sent to me by a friend of mine in the States. Reading Magic by Mem Fox. Everything I Know About Writing by John Marsden. Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and It's All Small Stuff by Richard Carlson. Brewer's Dictionary of Phrase and Fable, Millennium Edition, revised by Adrian Room, my journaling Bible. The Quran, Talking to My Country, Stan Grant. Sonnets by William Shakespeare. Burlesque and the Art of the Tease, and Fetish and the Art of the Tease by Dita Von Teese. Space, Our Final Frontier by John Gribben. Individuals, Portraits from the Gap Collection by Gap. The Art of Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, written by Josh Cushions. Salvador Dali, Liquid Desire by NGV. Wicked, The Grimoire, a behind-the-scenes look at the hit Broadway musical by David Coate. Bond on Set by Greg Williams. So that's it guys, that is my bookshelf tour. It is due for a bit of a clean out, so that will probably be happening soon. So if you'd like to also see an unhaul video, you can definitely do that, but for the time being the books are mostly going to stay where they are on the shelves. Obviously this video may go up a little bit later, so some of the books that are on my TBR shelves you may have already seen in weekly wrap-ups, and I'm really hoping so because I'm trying to get through them. So just keep that in mind. They'll end up somewhere else on the shelves. If you have filmed a bookshelf tour, leave a link for it down below because I love watching bookshelf tours. I think it's just so much fun. I hope that wherever you are in the world you're having a wonderful day, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye guys.